Hello and welcome to Words from a Black Woman's Experience. I am so happy that you guys have joined us today because I am joined by no other than the wonderful, the talented, vivacious, Miss Victoria Timpo. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi,
How are you
everyone.
doing today?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here. Oh my goodness.
I am excited to have you here. Um,
Yeah,
so we want to thank you first for coming. It is
of
amazing
course.
to have you here. And of course, I want to introduce everyone to the show. So, for those of you who are first stumbling upon Words from a Black Woman's Experience, this is where guests come to share unique perspectives and lessons they've experienced. I am your host, Cherlnell Lane. I bear my soul to heal yours, and I am the founder of Cherlnell Lane LLC, where we help you use your words. Words from a Black Woman's Experience was created to highlight Black women's stories. I have created a space where Black women can be themselves boldly and unapologetically. We talk about connections, their lives, lessons learned, and the message they want to leave with the audience. I feel that words are one of the most powerful tools on earth, whether written, spoken, signed, sung, read, or performed. And these are words from a Black woman's experience. In this episode, we are speaking to Victoria Timpo in an episode called Unlock Your Purpose and Joy. But first, a little bit about Miss Victoria. Victoria Timpo is a first generation Ghanaian American based in Chicago. She's a painter turned entrepreneur, host of Creatives Making Moves podcast, and on a mission to empower women to step into their creative genius and make an impact. Her vision is for Black creative women to feel joy and have purpose driven businesses. She is also the founder of Kindred Creatives Collective, where she hosts dinners and retreats for women artists of color. Let's welcome again Victoria Timpo. Thank you so much for coming just one more time.
Thank you.
Just to
Thank you for the
get out the way.
introduction.
You're amazing, so it was not difficult at all. You
Oh,
know, we're gonna talk a little bit more about what you do and what you've done.
mm-hmm.
First, I will be remiss if I not bring up. This is our last Monday in January, and January is Cervical Health Awareness Month. So, since this is a show focused on women and Black women, I just want to take the time out this month to remind you all to take care of your cervical health. For those of you all who don't know, that's getting regular pap smears, getting tested because you can get certain infections or certain viruses, whatever, that can affect your cervix, and can lead to cervical cancer. So
Mm.
this is why you must stay vigilant. You must get yourself checked out regularly and take care of your cervical health. Take care of your cervical health.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
so
just wanted to say
important.
that. It is, right?
Take
It really,
yourself.
really is. Yes. Today, however, is National Opposite Day. First of all, when you were a
National
kid, you
Opposite
were like,
Day.
that is the day today. I'm not making this up. Look it up. Look it up, people. Um, you remember when we were kids and it'd be like, oh, today is opposite day. I didn't know there was an actual.
I didn't know there was a
opposite.
like day for that.
I'm,
Wow.
ain't, ain't it kind of trippy? Like,
Because
okay,
I thought you were just
sure.
saying.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. Nope, dead
Wow.
serious. But my
Oh,
question is, for National Opposite Day, what is a trait that you have that is opposite from the way people see you, or people won't think that you would exhibit?
oh, that's a good one. Um, let's see. I think that I've been told this, and I guess sometimes, it slips out, but I could be funny. Like, I could be sarcastically funny. And usually I'm pretty like chill, calm, super sweet. But I have like kind of a sarcastic that people don't
Mm,
really see until they like get close to me. And so
okay.
like when I get really comfortable and I'm like with my good friends, I'm really funny. But people don't really see that side of me because I'm pretty like contained, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Until people like get to know me.
definitely, definitely, definitely. I definitely feel that. I guess I'll go. It's only fair.
Yes.
And I did not think of this beforehand. I like to keep it fair, but I will say, ooh, um, I guess that I have trouble. Um, I have trouble with journaling, right? Because I teach journaling a lot and I talk
Okay.
about journaling a lot and the benefits of journaling, and I believe all of that and subscribe to it. But I have a hard time like actually sitting down and journaling. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love to do it, but sometimes it's like I don't know if it's like you don't really want to release what's going on or
Mm-hmm.
what, but it's like, eh. So yeah, that's
So
something that most people.
you know what? I feel that too. Sometimes I get into these like writing like sprees where I'm just like writing every day, like in the morning, and then I'll just stop and I won't do it for like a couple of months. And then I might go back to it. But it's never like consistent. So I feel you on that.
Oh, definitely, it's yeah, it's something I tell you. But so thank you for answering that question for me. I appreciate it. Um, Now I want to go into the connection part of the show, and I just want to talk about how we're connected. So, first off, I have no idea how we started following each other. Like, I don't even know how that happened, but I know that we were
I
following each
know.
other. So it happens so frequently now. You be like, did I? When did I? Okay, so that's kind of how it
I
was.
know.
But I ended up joining your group for the Kindred
Yeah.
Creatives Collective. And I was like, okay, this is a cool group. And that's how I started getting to know you a little more, like work wise, and what you do in your art, and how you
Mhm.
were about, connecting artists and creatives, and about, making moves such as your podcast. I was like, okay, I like that, creatives making moves. All right.
Yes.
So that was awesome.
You know what? I remember that I put a post about something. I think I had like some program coming up and I posted about it and you commented or said something in the post. And so I reached out to you. I was like, hey girl. And then after that, we started to just kind of go back and forth. And then I was like, would you be interested in facilitating a part of my retreat? And you were like,
Yes.
yes. And that's how it
Yes.
started.
No, I remember exactly what the post was. You put up a post and it was like, hey, would anybody be interested in coming to a retreat about da 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 da? And I was like, oh, I would love to come. And in fact, I would like to teach if
Yes,
that was
you're like, I
possible.
would actually like to do something.
Right? Like I would love to come, but yes, and like I would also like to
Mhm.
do that. So we did. We started talking and talking about what we do and everything we stand on. And then you asked me, you were like, hey, do you want this subject? Do you want to teach on this? I was like, sure, I would love to. We were putting together the program and everything. We're
Mhm.
gonna have to do it later because I
Yeah,
still believe that
we will.
it's gonna be amazing when we do it. So yeah. But
Yes, yes,
so
we
that's
definitely
how we met. Then I was asked to be a guest on your podcast, Creatives Making
do.
Moves.
Hmm.
And I was so honored to be asked to be a part of that. And we had so much fun. It was so much
I
fun.
know. It was such
Um,
a good episode. Yes,
yeah.
thank you for coming on. It's just so
Oh,
easy to talk to you.
oh, thank you. I try. But yes, and we were talking about how this comes full circle because I was on your
Mhm.
podcast, now you're on my podcast, and it's like, oh
Yes.
my god,
I love that because that's what I'm all about. Us supporting each other and like what we are like passionate and like I told you like and you have coming up, let me know so that I could be there to support you, be front and center and be like, go Cherlnell, because I think we need we need a lot around us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I definitely feel that. And I appreciate you being a cheerleader. And do know that I return the favor. I am a cheerleader of yours as well. And
Yes,
that
you
is
are.
awesome. So I'm glad that we connected. And I'm glad that we have a
Yeah,
connection. So
me too.
let's get into the meat and potatoes, or tofu and mushrooms. So I love to kick off the interview portion of the show with, what is your favorite quote?
Yes. So this is so funny. When you asked me this, a couple of things ran through my mind, but the one that stood out for me the most is a quote from Maya Angelou, the great Maya Angelou.
All
And
that.
one of the quotes that she has is, um, you can use up your creativity. You can't use up your creativity. The more you use it, the more you have. So I love that because, you know, I personally believe that the more you use your creativity, the more you use what you're really good at, the better you get, the better you tap into something really spiritual, really innate in you. And so I believe more people should do that. But also I think that it's really this abundance mindset, right? That like you're not lacking. If you put good work in the world, you're not gonna lose momentum and not be able to put good work out. It will come, it will go, it will keep coming.
Oh,
There's more to come and there's more to learn and there's more to grow. And so I love that because I feel like it's so simple, but it's just like it's so layered.
absolutely. Absolutely. It makes me think of like rain, right? The rain and the
Mhm.
oceans and all of that, and
Right.
how water from anywhere flows back to the ocean, and then water,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? And then the rain picks it up, and then it rains all over, and then the water goes back into the ocean, and then it repeats. So
Mhm.
that kind of cycle, that if you give something out, it's like spirits, like energy cannot be destroyed.
Yes.
So It's like the
Exactly.
same system. Yeah, I had not heard that from my Angelou. I love my Angelou, so
Mhm.
thank you very much for giving me that. I appreciate
Yes,
that. That was awesome. That was
I
awesome.
love it.
So, you have come to us today to talk about how we can unlock our purpose and joy, which is a wonderful topic. Like, I'm on my edge of my seat, because I think this is something I think this is something we all can benefit from. No matter what we do, no matter who we are as Black women, a lot of times we're so stuck in a rigmarole, and we're so
Yeah.
stuck in what we think we should be doing, what's been placed upon us that we need to be doing by other people, by society, by whatever, that we're not taking the time to realize our full purpose, and we're definitely not taking the
Mm-hmm.
time to find our joy. So, I'm gonna let you kick it off. What would you like to
Exactly.
tell us? How did you start on this journey of unlocking your purpose and joy?
Yeah. I think it's funny because this is probably a good 10-year journey and it's still evolving as I go. But I would definitely say that the catalyst for me to really understand not only my power, but what I really wanted to do, what my purpose was when I took a trip to Ghana. I'm from Ghana. My parents are both from Ghana. I grew up in Chicago. And right after I graduated from my BFA in painting, I was like, I didn't have a job lined up. The undergrad experience was a little bit traumatic. There wasn't a lot of like artists I related to. I felt really isolated and I just felt really insecure about my skills. And I just didn't know like what I wanted to do. I didn't know, what my next move was. And so a family member actually encouraged me to just like take a break, come to Ghana and just like paint and, figure it out. And I was blessed to have family who could support me. And so I was able to take a good 10 months off and I went to Ghana and I would say the first 3 months were rough because even though I'm Ghanaian American, there was still a transition period for me because it's a completely different culture. It's an amazing place and I love it. It's my happy place. But certain things you just aren't accustomed to. So I was still kind of transitioning into the lifestyle of Ghana, just having a slower pace and just wanting to, not really knowing that many people and really just being at home all the time. It was just wasn't really a good experience. But that changed when I started to go out and meet artists. So time I was painting with a couple of artists who were kind of like mentors for me. And so they were like teaching me different skills and that type of thing. And they introduced me to other artists and took me to other exhibitions in Ghana. And I started to meet people. And as soon as that happened, everything kind of changed. And so I was able to really go to places without my family because I had friends. I was able to just like paint with a group of artists outside and just like eat together and make work together and just like kick back and hang out. It was amazing. So from that experience, I realized that I need to tap into this because I was the happiest I have ever been in those months in Ghana. And I was thinking about why was that? Like what made me so happy? And I realized that it was because I was focusing on what I was innately good at, a community of me who
Hold on, Victoria. We're having some technical issues. You're like frozen. Let's see if we can fix this. Okay,
artists, just
ladies and
like being
gentlemen,
around
we'll be
artists. And I didn't
right back with
quite
Victoria
understand what that
Timpo.
meant.
She's having some
It took
technical
like
difficulties.
years to really
I'm sure she'll be back
understand,
in a
really have.
moment. While we have this break, I would like to tell you a little bit about what's going on with Cherlnell Lane and Cherlnell Lane LLC next week on Words from a Black Woman's Experience. I am elated to have no other than Sante Harden from Oh We Gon' Talk, and poet extraordinaire, to come on the show and share with us her experience. It is going to be a show that you do not want to miss. And that is going to be next Monday, February 1st, 2021, at 6 p.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook Live at Cherlnell Lane, LLC on Facebook, Cherlnell Lane, LLC on YouTube. So please join us as we talk about words from her experience and you know, great things, great things. I believe Miss Victoria is coming back on. Um, her video is back on. Let's see here. But while she gets situated, we can continue talking, right? So, the other thing that I wanted to let you all know is that with Words from a Black Woman's Experience, we are looking for Black women who would like to share their experiences and be on the show. Remember, you can share whatever your experience is, however you experience it. Women want to hear it. We want to hear it. I want to hear it. So please email me at Cherlnell@cherlnell.com. That's Cherlnell. And I hope to see and hear from you soon. We're going to be back with Miss Victoria Tempo. It looks like she's back on. We're going to bring her back on the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey,
Hi.
in there. I moved to a different part of the house. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, good. I don't know where I left off. What did you hear
You,
last?
you were talking about you went to Ghana to paint, and you were feeling kind of eh until you got with other artists, and you were talking about how you all kind of built the community when you all would paint, break bread, discuss, hang out together. So that's where you were.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I think from that experience, I really started to think about, um what was so important about that experience for me? Like, why was I so happy in that experience? That was probably the happiest time in my life. And I just felt so much joy and I felt so authentic and just, true to myself. And I wanted to figure out, okay, so what is it about that experience that made me feel like that? And I tried to replicate it in different spaces because I was like, okay, I'm not feeling this in certain areas in my life, but when I was in Ghana, I definitely felt this. So why is that? And I realized that the reason why I felt that way is because not only was I able to tap into what I was innately good at or what I had a passion for, which was my art, but I had time to just break and reflect and figure out what I wanted. I was able to slow down and have a community around me who really supported me, who was really there for me, who looked like me, who I could relate to. And also, I was able to just feel so inspired by just the surroundings, from the artists, from the sounds, everything around me was just so inspiring that it built this perfect momentum for me to like really figure out this is something that I love. This is an environment I want to be around. And I recognized in that moment that I really need to be around creative people. they kind of energizes me.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but you touched on a very, very important thing. You were talking about why the connection like helped you or motivated you and inspired you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things you said was to be around other creatives that look
Mm-hmm.
like me.
Yes.
So I would like you to speak to creatives out there who look like us,
Mm-hmm.
and explain to them, how it feels to be a part of something with people who look like you, how that is kind of different from being in
Mm-hmm.
other spaces, because you can do both. You can be in other
Right.
spaces. Usually we have to be in other spaces with
Mm-hmm.
multicultural spaces, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something, and you just
Yes.
talked about it, so I know you know what it is. So
Yes.
share that with the audience.
There is something powerful about being around like minds, being around people who get you, who relate to your experience, who connect with you on a deeper level. And when you're around people who look like you, it's a whole nother thing. In the art world, there are not a lot of Black people who are represented. There's not a lot of women who are represented. And, a lot of minority cultures are really, communities are discouraged from practicing the arts because you're not, you don't, people don't feel like you can make money from it. It's not sustainable. You'll suffer, the whole starving artist mentality. And so because of that, a lot of creatives aren't able to really nurture their gifts and go on and continue to practice. And so there's a very, very small pool of artists who are Black, who are, come from different cultures. The majority is white, male, cis, artists, and they are represented. If there is a shift happening, there is a change in the mainstream media where a lot of, you have your Mickalene Thomas, you have your Kara Walkers, you have your really superstar artists who are, encouraged and recognized and paid well. But that's a very small number compared to all the other artists who are, spotlighted. And for the most part, their sales are like substantially less than a white artist. So because of that, it's very disheartening, it's very discouraging when you're not around people who get it, right? You can't necessarily talk about these things with people who aren't experiencing it in the same way.
Absolutely.
So there's something very powerful about being around not only people who get it, who are equally as passionate about their art, but who understand your experience, understand the isolation, understand the sacrifice, the pay cuts, the mess that comes along with being a minority, and then can also relate to, our power, our strength, and can, uplift and encourage us along. There's just something really magical about it. And every time I'm around, my people who are artists, I just feel this energy in my body. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I definitely get you. I definitely get you. It's like you said, the shift is different. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I can relax. Okay,
Yes.
like you said, it's something about people getting you. People who don't get you can see you like on a surface level. It's
Right.
like when you read about something and you don't experience that something, you're like, oh, I see it because I read it. I know this, I know that. But it's something
Mm-hmm.
when people get you because they know, and of course
Mm-hmm.
that is, everybody doesn't know everybody. All Black people don't have the same experience.
Right. Absolutely.
However, it's probably more than not that you have at least some of the same experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain commonalities that are universal to the human experience. Obviously, all Black people are not the same. All Black people experiences are not the same, but there's certain universal truths, for like happiness and pursuits and things that you want out of your life that people who have a similar socioeconomical background can relate. They don't necessarily have to have the same experience, but if you're walking down the street and a police officer sees you, you're both Black, it doesn't matter what your background is, you're going to be treated the same way. And so those types of perceptions that come from the outside world are still placed on, they kind of loop us all together. And so because of that, we have certain similarity in experience are unfortunate, but it happens.
Definitely. Thank you for answering that question. So you, before I interrupted you, you were telling us how this experience and what you learned from it leads to unlocking your purpose and joy.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit. After I left Ghana, I ended up going back to school to get my master's in curatorial practice because I wanted to be a curator. I wanted to put more art in the world that was from Black people. Because when I was in Ghana, I saw all these dope artists and I was like, why don't I see them anywhere else? These people are amazing. And so I wanted to like be a space where I can, or be a gatekeeper, if you will, and show more work by Black people, by Black artists. And so I went back to school for that. And while I was there, it was a very like community activated program. So it was very much about community engagement, taking the exhibition space outside of the white box. And I really became interested in community engagement and bringing people together and building connections, building support systems, nurturing and supporting artists. I recognize that I really love doing that more. Like I love going to I love going to artist studios and just like talking about their work. I love to like, help them find like galleries to show their work. But I didn't like doing like the nitty gritty. Like I didn't like putting the shows up and all of that. So I recognized, from both of those experiences that I really did want to just be around artists.
Yeah.
And so that led me into, fast forward a little bit more into starting my collective, the Kindred Creatives Collective. And I started that really just because I was looking for Black artists in Chicago who I could meet. I felt really isolated. I didn't really know a lot of artists. And I was like, I know they're out there. So, where are my people? So I ended up I started hosting dinners in my apartment. And it was just like a way to meet artists, to connect. I would hire a private chef. We would eat and we would just like talk about our life and things that were going on, share resources. And then I also had a section of that where we would do some art making together. So there would be, we would paint, or I had someone come and do a hairdressing demo, different things we did. I had a bead artist who showed us how to make bracelets. And so we would just like do different things together as artists. And I really, really loved that. And I was like, okay, this is cool, but I want to go deeper because I'm just like, I love to like really get into people and like learn their experiences and know who they're about.
Yeah.
Because again, I was thinking about I always went back to what brings me joy.
Yes.
What makes me happy? What experience have I had that I felt the most authentic, the most centered, the most joyful? And so I try to create those experiences for myself.
Yeah.
you know, and it's not, obviously life isn't perfect. You're not always going to be happy, but I was very intentional about who I started to be really intentional about who I surrounded myself with, what I was doing with my life, what type of things I would like spend time doing, because I knew that, you know, going back to that experience in Ghana when I was there for 10 months, I knew like what made me happy. I knew like what are the things I needed to do. So that's why I tell people you have to really reflect and think about like what past experiences have you had where you felt the most yourself, you felt the most authentic, you felt the most joy. And then think about like what about those experiences brought that out of you or made you feel so centered, and then try and replicate those experiences so that you're continuing to be in that state, you know. But you have to be intentional about it, and you have to really create it for yourself if that's important to you.
Okay, so let's recap. You have to find what makes you happy, what brings
Mm-hmm.
you joy, and sit in that,
Yes.
and then replicate.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And that would lead to the purpose, or the purpose will lead to the joy.
So finding your purpose for me is, it's a journey, right? It's your reason for doing things. Like what is your why? What drives you? That's what your purpose is. And if you know what that is, then you're able to make moves towards that. It could either look like goals that you have, it could look like accomplishments or whatever, but your purpose is, I see it as it's like the end state that I know I want to be in this moment, because it evolves. I believe your purpose is constantly evolving. But in this moment in time, this is what I want. This is my reason for doing this. If you know that, you can build towards that. You can build towards that goal. So for me, my purpose is to uplift and connect artists. I realized that that's something that not only I'm really good at, but it just brings me a lot of joy. So having joy is kind of like a catalyst towards my purpose. That's like one of my core values. And it leads me towards what I'm meant to do. It's like a signal that I'm in the right direction for me, but it's not my purpose. It's connected to my purpose. If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are aligned with your purpose, then that should bring you joy, which will keep
Exactly.
you further aligned with your purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. This is great. This is awesome. So, of course, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now we talked about alignment on your purpose and how joy is a big signal that you are aligned with that. And as joy does, it has endorphins and all of these
Yes.
feel good feelings. So it's like, oh, that made me feel good. Let me do it some more. Um, so my question is, I know a lot of times I talk to other women and we talk about like signals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you watched the episode with Dion Victoria when science describes God.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about, me and her, she mostly, but me and her talked about like confirmation. And she
Mm.
always tells me, you know, when people say, I should have followed my first mind.
Mm.
Like that's your sign. Follow your first mind.
Yeah.
Do what you were going to first do, because that is the universe telling you like this is your purpose, you
Yeah,
know.
you're heading the right direction. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The other thing about purpose is I feel like even when I'm processing, right? If
Mm-hmm.
something comes across like, hey, I think I want to do that, or hey, that might be interesting. And then it'll happen again. And
Mm-hmm.
then somebody will bring it up, and then you know what I'm saying. Then you
Right.
see it on TV, and you're like, wait a minute,
Right.
wait 1 second. And
Mm.
that kind of happened. Me and you were the first person that I talked to about it, and we were talking about like the collective. We
Mhm.
were talking about your team and how we were talking about like when we get big, you know,
Right.
we're gonna be like, oh come on, we all big, you know. And
Yes.
literally was talking about somebody else bring it up like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, somebody else brought it up. I'm like, you know what? I guess this is it then. And they all said that, like what we were talking about. I didn't say anything. They were
Mm.
all like, yeah, we're going to stick together. And when we get big, I'm going to put you on. We're going to bring everybody on because that's what we're
Love
supposed
it.
to do, sister supporting sisters. I'm like, this,
Mhm.
it lets me know that I'm on the right path to finding people who, like you said, who are my tribe.
Yes. And also,
So
we're manifesting that, right? We're putting it out in the universe that it's going to happen.
absolutely. Absolutely. So you
Mhm.
heard it here first, people.
Yes.
When we make it big, you know what I'm saying? If I make it big first, she coming. If she make it big first, I'm coming. We're
Mhm.
gonna do this. It's gonna be a monopoly. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
One after the other.
Exactly. But I think that's awesome. I really do think that's awesome.
Yeah.
There was another question I wanted to ask. I'm sorry, Victoria. If you don't know by now from watching the show or knowing me, my memory is very short.
That's
Um,
okay. It'll come to
it's
you.
not very short. I wouldn't say that. It's just fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
I should say that. It's fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, so we talked about your process,
Mm-hmm.
uh, your discovery, right? And then your process from your discovery to unlock your purpose and therefore unlock your joy.
Yes.
I don't think we focused, and we talked about Kindred Creatives and
Mm-hmm.
how that came about, but I don't think we focused enough on your personal artistic story, like
Okay.
your art, what you do, how you do it, your inspirations, all of that.
Yes. Okay. Um, wow. I would say that I was always kind of like I love to doodle and kind of draw. Like I've always been that type of person, but I never really took it serious. Like I would just like, doodle on my notepad and that type of thing. I remember in like fourth grade or fifth grade, I won some type of a drawing competition. It was like an ad, and I put the ad in and I won. And it was like, oh, cool. But I still never really thought of myself as an artist. I think it wasn't until high school. I went to Oak Park River Forest High School, and they had a really nice art program. And so they had like an AP art program. So I was just taking an elective. I was like, this will be fun. So I took like a studio art elective, and I had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Campbell, and I remember her to this day. She is the one who first told me that like I have a gift. She was like, "You have something. You should really nurture this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I started to paint more, and I started taking more seriously. And I never really thought I was good. I was just like, okay, well, this is kind of fun. Let me just keep doing it. But she was like along the path, just telling me, like, no, you're good. Like the way you're putting colors together, like you got something. You should keep doing it. So she actually encouraged me to apply for art colleges. And so I ended up doing that, and she helped me with my portfolio and all of that. And so that's how I ended up I went to U of I, and I got into the painting program. And so that was like the start. I would say in high school, I really got serious about it. And then I got my BFA in painting. But even throughout that time, through those 4 years, I still had like major imposter syndrome. I just didn't think I was good. I thought I was like faking. Like I thought it was a fraud. It was like, you know, I had some really intense critiques that went horrible. And it was just like, I just never really thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until I went to Ghana, which all roads lead to Ghana, that I built my confidence and I created like some really amazing paintings. And I was like, did I paint that? Like, did I actually do that? Like, I was surprised at myself. And I knew that like this is something that was always in me. I just needed to practice. Like, like artists have innate gifts, but you have to practice to get better, just like with anything. And so me just focusing those 10 months on painting, like I saw the transformation. And so I was able to really like hone into my skills and really understand my style. But then like I went through kind of a winding road and I got into like art admin and, you know, curatorial work. And I stopped painting for a while. And so like even now, it's like I'm not a full-time painter. And whenever I do paint, it's just kind of like here and there. It's not consistent. And so I want to get back into it where I'm like painting more often because I know that's also something like it's part of my power. But what drives me is just being around artists and seeing art. Luckily for me, right now I work at a nonprofit youth art center. So I'm still surrounded by artists and art. We have artist studios, and I'm able to coordinate classes and that type of thing. So I still feel inspired every day from the young people we work with and from the artists. But I want to get back into my own practice. Most my style is figurative, so a lot of it is painting like women and children scenes, everyday lifestyle scenes. Usually it's experiences that I've had in Ghana. So I'll paint those experiences that I see. And I will sometimes I mix like fabric to like make the clothes. So but it's figurative, it's pretty realistic. But I want to get back into, you know, painting because it's been a minute now.
Wow. That's amazing. I want you to get back into painting because you have to do a piece for me. You have to.
My
Like,
dad wants me to paint him a portrait. And so he's like, paint me something before I die. And I was like, all right, I got you. You're not gonna die anytime soon. I think he will be the next thing I paint. He wants me to paint his portrait.
that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Now, I was like blown away by a couple of things you said. One, you said that you went from the teacher said I was good. I was like, okay, whatever. She's like, no, I really think you're good. Maybe I'll dabble. No, you're really good. Okay, you're really good. I think you should go to college for art. Okay, help me with my portfolio. Get into the college for art for painting, and then go the rest of the way. Cause you was like the whole way there. Like I'm like, you was like, yeah, I do this kind of, sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Board. And now look at you. You're like this amazing picture. It's crazy. But that's how it works, right? It's like you said, it's something innate in us and it has to be awakened. It has to be cultivated, right? And a lot of times it's people around us, teachers, parental figures, aunties, uncles, play aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, people like that to see something innate in us and to like push us like, no, you need.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a lot of times,
our own power, and it takes someone outside of us to shine that light because there's so much other stuff going on in our heads.
Absolutely. Now, I want to touch on time went fast. I just want you to leave us with a message
Mhm.
that you want to leave the audience with.
Yeah.
So this is, if you can just give us the last tidbit, what would it be?
Yes, I would definitely say to honor your passions. So, that is, I think understanding what drives you and understanding your why is really important. And it will give you clarity on every single move that you make. So, what I tell people is to really take a moment and tap into, what their body is telling them, what experience is telling them, what people around them, who actually care and uplift them is telling them, because they're all signals, but you have to really understand your why. So you have to go deep inside yourself, take some time to figure it out and understand your why, have some clarity on your purpose, and then everything will kind of click into place. And for me, like I've been saying, if you feel like you're in a place where you feel joy, usually you're heading in the right direction of your purpose. But like take care of yourself, really tap into your self-care. That's also a way to nurture your purpose, really understand your mindset and like, what beliefs you have that may be stopping you from doing things, that may be self-sabotaging you. Really understand your strengths. So like what you're really good at innately, and when you have clarity on those three things, you're able to move through, the struggles and head towards your purpose. So I would say that.
That was an excellent drop. Like that was a mic drop for real. That
Yeah.
was so good. That was so good. Thank you so much for sharing your
Yes.
experience
No,
with
this
us,
is
for
fun.
sharing the lessons, for sharing the mic drops. I like
Yes, yes,
there were
yes.
so
Can I
many
just say
gems.
something really quickly?
Oh, absolutely.
I just wanted to share about my newest retreat that's coming up.
I was gonna ask you. I didn't forget. I was gonna be
Okay,
like,
cool.
"Hey,
I'll
what
let
you
you
got coming up?" No, you beat me to it. That's the next question. Go right ahead.
Okay, perfect. Because I would have forgot, and I was like, let me hurry up and say this before I forget.
No worries.
um, so my newest retreat is called the Empowered Craze Retreat, and it's a retreat in Ghana. So I am really taking my experience that I had in Ghana and bringing other artists along the journey with me. So it is a 12-day retreat. It's going to be in July. And what it is tapping into your innate power as an artist. So we'll be, creating things. We'll be inspired by artist studio visits. There will be a soap making workshop. There'll be a kente weaving workshop. There'll be a bead making workshop. But it's also time to reflect and take a break, because life is a lot going on, right? And I think it's really important to take a step back and rest and really have that time for yourself. And so it's part inspiration, it's part rest, and it's also an opportunity to be surrounded by other artists. So what we were talking about before about feeling isolated, I think is really important to connect other Black women artists together. So the retreat is for visual artists, it's for designers, it's for writers, it's for makers. And if you are really dedicated to your passion, to your craft, if you are either working full time or you're a creative entrepreneur who has a business, you're an artist with a business, and you are, looking for time to get away, to feel inspired, to make new art, to connect with like minds, then the retreat is for you. It's all inclusive. So housing, transportation in Ghana, and food is included. So I'm so excited to take people to Ghana and to have that experience. It's going to be life-changing. We're going to be going to different landmarks. We'll go to Cape Coast. We're going to see the Elmina Slave Castle. Like, it's going to be epic. So I'm so excited. And if you are interested in going, you can go to my website. It is Kindred Creatives Co. And you can look me up on Facebook as well, Victoria Timpo. You can look at Kindred Creatives. That's Kindred Creatives, Creativsco. .com, and you'll find all about the retreat.
That is awesome. I was just going to interrupt you because I was going to be like, hey, that sounds awesome. And I'm excited for you. I'm like, I want to be like, so because
I'm so excited. I can't wait
to. It's one thing when, we get to experience something. But when we get to do it for others, it's like a whole different
yes
thing, a whole different thing.
Exactly.
It's so amazing. So I'm so excited for you to be able to bring that experience to other artists.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of just leading people along the path. But I feel like people already have everything that they need. They just have to, get there and then just have this spiritual journey, have this creative journey. And if you don't know your purpose, it's a really great space to figure that out and find it, because you'll have that break and you'll have all the inspiration and creatives around you.
That is awesome. I cannot wait to hear about it. Okay.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. Have a comment. I'm just trying to put your website up because I think I spelled it wrong.
It's just an S. It's
right. That's what I was like, nope, that's not it. It's Creatives.
Yep, thank you, boo.
No problem. And it's also in the description. So if you all are looking for the links to her Instagram and her website are in the description of this video. Yes. So
yes,
I'm happy to have you. We have a comment. Bow. Can you see it?
Oh, I can't. Sorry,
It
the
says
screen has.
That's okay. Nope, no problem. It says Ernestine Battles says, "Good job. I loved everything."
Oh, I see it now. Thank you, Ernestine.
So, and that was our guest on our last show and our previous show.
Yay!
So I'm glad everybody gets to show love. That is so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming. This was a very good, enlightening conversation.
Yes, I love having conversations like this. So anytime, let me know.
Oh, no problem. I'm sure you'll be back. I am sure of it.
No problem.
Yes. So, yeah, so that's it. I'm going to just let you all know again that we're here every Monday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook Live. And if you want to get those links, the link to YouTube is bit.ly/Cherlnell YouTube. Facebook is bit.ly/Cherlnell's Facebook, Cherlnell's YouTube, Cherlnell's Instagram, Cherlnell's LinkedIn, Cherlnell's Twitter. So all of them are the same thing, just my name and whatever platform it is after it. What else? My website is www.cherlnell.com. My email is cherlnell@cherlnell.com. Please email me if you would like to be a guest on the show. If you have any questions for the guests on the show, previous guests, and upcoming guests. If I have mentioned a guest that you want to ask a particular question to, send it to my email. And for those of you wondering, how to spell Cherlnell, let me help you out. It's Cherlnell. Again, Cherlnell. This has been Cherlnell Lane. This is Words from a Black Woman's Experience. Thank you, Ms. Victoria Timpo, for joining us today. Peace.
Bye.
That's my peace. And we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.